I'm going to talk a little bit today about how I look at relationships and the way that I think a lot of relationships are going today. The way that I look at things, but I truly think of myself as someone like a 50s housewife. I like being a wife. I like being a mother. I like taking care of my house and cooking and cleaning and doing the things that I know will make my husband happy. Those are the things that I like to do. I I worked for many years. I did. I worked in the accounting um, industry. I did bookkeeping. I did invoicing. I did payroll. I did a lot of accounting things. I have a associate's degree in accounting. I have an associate's degree in business management. And I worked for many, many years doing bookkeeping and accounting things. In 2008, I started having some issues with cognition and with memory. I was I had a nervous breakdown. I was working probably about 80 hours a week at the time. I was doing invoicing and bookkeeping, and I just had a nervous breakdown. I tried to kill myself and just couldn't deal with being a mother. I was in a different relationship at that time, um, but I just couldn't handle the work and being mother and all the different things that I was trying to handle on my own. My ex that I was with at the time, she was having her own issues. And yes, I was with a woman at the time. I've kind of switched back and forth between women and men, although I am married to a man now, which um, because he is part of this channel. Um, but at the time, she was going through her own problems, and she couldn't help me out as much as I probably needed. Um, I started having a lot of problems with, like I said, cognition and memory. I was diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder. Um, I switched jobs. I wasn't working quite as much with the new job. I was still doing accounting work. I was doing payroll and accounting work. And in about 2010, I, over a 2 week period, my brain just stopped working as far as accounting wise and working wise. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. I couldn't do the things that I was doing, the job that I was doing. My brain just wouldn't allow me to do the everyday things that I used to do. Uh, I've always been very good at math, trigonometry, calculus. I loved math, and a standard accounting report looked like Greek to me all of a sudden. I couldn't do payroll. Figuring out taxes and figuring out uh, different things like that just all of a sudden didn't make sense to me anymore. And I couldn't work. I couldn't do the thing that I was trained to do. I've done all my life. I couldn't do it anymore. My brain just would not function. I tried for a few months, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do the reports that I needed to do. I couldn't do the payroll. Couldn't figure out payroll taxes, even though we had computer programs that really, all you had to do was enter the information, but you still had to verify it, and I couldn't verify that the computer was doing the calculations were correct. And it was very difficult for me, but I finally did have to stop working. I filed for disability in 2010. I went and had every known test on my brain done, trying to find out if I had a stroke, find out if there was something, I had a tumor, something wrong with my brain, trying to find out what was going on. And physically there was nothing wrong. There, I had no bleeding on my brain. I had no strokes. I had no tumors. Nothing physically that the doctors could find. The only thing they could find was the mental illness. They found that I was bipolar. I started to develop severe anxiety, going out anywhere, going just to the store, going out of my front door, caused me such anxiety. I felt like I was having a heart attack. My chest would pound out of my heart would pound out of my chest. And I had never experienced things like this. I mean, yes, on occasion I'd get a little panicky or something around people, but not to this extent. This all happened within a matter of 6 to 8 months, and I was going back and forth living with friends and family, and I struggled. I struggled a lot with all these new experiences that I was going through. Some of my past traumas started to reveal themselves in my brain, and I started panicking, thinking that people were coming after me and that everyone was out to hurt me. And it was really jarring for me. I had not experienced things like that, and I saw therapists over and over, and it was the mental illness, and I had to relearn how to live. And from probably about 2010 to 2014, I lived with my mom. My son and I lived with my mom, and I worked on trying to get disability, which is a very daunting and extenuating process. It's very, and I understand that the government wants to make sure that you are disabled. I truly do, but it is so difficult to get the medical evidence that they want when you're not working. You can't work. You don't have insurance. You can't see the doctors that you need to see to be able to get the medical evidence, and it can be a very drawn out and arduous process. I finally in 2015 got a very good lawyer here in New Orleans, and I was finally able to get my disability and be able to start living again, because I felt like I was not living much. I lived, again, like I said, with my mother. I stayed in bed all the time. I was so depressed. I was so just not wanting to do anything. I stayed in bed. I was very, very heavily medicated. The doctors that I was able to see at the time basically just medicated me. They gave me the strongest medication that I could to relieve my symptoms, but the way that they were relieving my symptoms was I was sleeping all the time. I had blown up to about 300 pounds, and it was just very difficult. It really was. And I found my husband in 2015. I found a lawyer that helped me. I found a better therapist and psychiatrist that helped me out so much better. And I really started to move forward. I still deal with the anxiety every single day. I am kind of on a cusp of being agoraphobic, which is where you don't want to leave your house. You're scared to go out into the world. My therapist works with me and my husband to make sure that I get out, that I go out of the house. Now, for the next couple of months, I'm not going to be going out of my house much. On Monday, today is Thursday. Well, today is Wednesday that I'm recording. I will be uploading today. But on Monday, I had weight loss surgery. I have struggled with my weight all my life, and over the past 2 years, my A1C, which is the determination for diabetes, has been gradually going up. My cholesterol has been gradually going up, even though I eat healthy. I eat very healthy. I eat salads. On occasion, I do binge some sweets or some potato chips, but I do eat healthy, but I still struggle with trying to lose weight, and this was kind of my last resort. I spent 2 months before our wedding in 2020 last year, trying to lose some weight. I had cut down calories. I was walking 3 miles a day, and I still did not lose any weight. And it kind of made me realize I have to do something. I have to have the surgery. And I did go ahead on Monday and have surgery. So I'm going to be stuck in my house for the next few months. That right now I'm sitting here. I'm not in pain. It didn't, I never really experienced much pain. But I do have to be careful. I feel when I turn or move too quickly or too suddenly, it'll give me some twinges of uncomfortableness. I feel sore, but it's not something that that's really giving me a lot of uncomfortableness. I can't bend over. I can't pick up in, really can't pick up much of anything. But and I'm also only able to drink. I can drink about I have to drink 4 of these. These are the little medicine cups that come with medicine, and drink 4 of those of liquid every 15 minutes. And I have to measure that out every 15 minutes to make sure that I'm drinking enough. But my stomach right now will only hold about 2 ounces of liquid before it starts making me nauseous. So I have to be careful with that, which is why I have to stay inside. Now I do have to walk around. I have to go move around and make sure. But you'll see over the next few months me starting to kind of melt away, hopefully, and lose some weight because of this. But I'm excited about this journey. But getting back to, I tend to ramble. That's the bipolarness. But again, going back to how I feel about relationships, which is what I started with. I like taking care of my family. I've made that my mission. I can't go to work, and I did for so long, and I had a mental breakdown because it's not what I'm comfortable doing. What I'm comfortable doing is taking care of my family, taking care of my household, and cleaning and cooking and doing things like that is the things that I really enjoy doing. Yes, I did get fulfillment out of working when I worked in accounting and stuff, but I get so much more fulfillment and so much more doing for my family, taking care of my family, making my son happy, making my husband happy. And I know most women look at me like I'm out of my mind, but I just feel that is something that's important to me. Um, I don't think every woman wants to do it or should do it, but I don't think that a woman should be told that they have to try and have it all, that they have to go to college, they have to go and get a job, and they have to have a family and a job and a career and all of this. And I don't think that if it's possible for a woman not to be able to do it, to be able to get married and stay home and take care of children and not have to go and try and do a career and have children, I don't think that should be a requirement to be a woman. I don't. Yes, working, if a woman wants to work, they should be able to work. If a woman does a job, they should definitely be paid the same amount as a man who's doing the same job. Uh, but I don't think that it should be a requirement as a woman that you have to go to work and do that, or you have to do. If a woman wants to stay home and take care of her children and raise her children, I think that should be an option. I think that it shouldn't be looked down upon. I know that when I stopped working and I decided to really dedicate my life to my husband and my son, that I was really looked down upon. That why aren't you trying to work too? And I'm like, I can't work. I really can't. But I don't think that I should be put down or looked down upon because I'm not trying to do it all. I don't think that should be a requirement for women. I really don't. I think that women have that nurturing genes, I guess it would say, to take care of children and to raise children. And I think that this concept nowadays that women have to work and be a mother is taking away from children. Now, I understand if it's necessary that a woman go to work, and I don't think that women should be required to do one or the other or both, but I worry about children nowadays not having enough structure with their parents. Um, I know this is controversial to a lot of people, but I think that we're letting other people raise our children instead of doing it ourselves. When I was working, my son was in daycare almost all the time, when he was in school or in daycare, and I really feel bad about that now. I really realized that I didn't have as much to do with him as I really wanted to, as I should have, because my son is 18, almost 19 now. He turns 19 in a few months, and sometimes I feel like I wasn't there enough for him because I was working so much. But he's still a good kid. I call him a kid. He's a man now, but he's still a good kid, and I love him to death. He loves me to death. He is interested in a lot of different things, and I want for kids now today to know their parents, and I feel like they don't know their parents. They're not being taught structure, and I see children running around grocery stores, and it kills me that they don't have that structure. They're just being let to run around, and it's a dangerous place in this world right now, and they shouldn't be with their parents and have a structure. And I know I'm rambling. It's just I feel bad for kids nowadays. I really do. So that's about it for today. That'll be about it. And I will try to be back next week and maybe talk a little bit more about kids and relationships. I think next week I'll probably talk a little bit more about some relationship issues. So you have a good day and have a good week. See you next week. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see what we have in store, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Have a good day.